Cool. So what's going on, man?
Nothing much, bud. It's been a pretty eventful last 24, 48 hours. I was in Florida yesterday, well, for the weekend for an event, and
Hmm.
I left yesterday. And it was flight delay, flight delay, flight delay. I was supposed to get in yesterday at like around 9:30. I got in this morning at 6 a.m. and I haven't slept a wink. I got home at like 7 o'clock. I'm
Where you at?
I'm in Virginia.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're not too far from me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Richmond. So,
I was just in Richmond.
what's up?
I was just in Richmond.
Really?
Yeah, I was just at a speaking event for their real estate investment conference.
Was it for?
It was for the RIA Association, Real Estate Investment
Yep,
Association
yep, yep,
out
yep.
there. Yep. I was
I, I,
there maybe 3 weeks ago.
that's a small world, man. Wait,
Yep.
you're North Carolina?
West Virginia. I'm in
Oh,
West Virginia.
okay. I knew you were a neighbor. I used to know exactly
Yeah.
where.
Yep. I'm in West Virginia. So that's awesome. So I want to hear about your story, what you're doing actively.
Yeah, of course. So, I'll give you an abridged version of how I got here, what made me turn into a life coach, peak performance coach, a speaker. So I remember when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was help people. I just didn't necessarily know how I was going to do it, but I remember I had this like natural instinct just to serve and to give. So, when I was a teenager, if I would see somebody on the side of the street, something compelled me to give them a dollar. Or I remember sometimes, I would see somebody not have enough gas to go to the gas pump and I would help them push their car to the pump. It's just something that, like, it was a voice inside my head that just said, go help this person.
Hmm.
So I had that inside me since I was a kid, and then when I was 18, I fell in love with fitness. And this is just personal related. I fell in love with it. It became part of my identity, so I became the fit guy. And then a few years later, when I was in my early 20s, I kind of had this epiphany where I said to myself, why don't I take my two passions, fitness and service, and let me combine the two? So
Hmm.
I thought it would have been a great idea to become a personal trainer. So I got my certification. I opened up my own online personal training business at the side of still working a 9 to 5 job, which at the time I was a manager of a gym. Now, during this time, this is about end of 2020. So COVID's kind of iffy. I had what I like to call a hell week. So within 7 days, I had a lot of things hit me all at once. I didn't know how to react or respond. So within these 7 days, I get fired from this job of being a
Hmm.
manager right before Christmas, right before my birthday. Good stuff. On top of that, I go through a really serious back injury. I had a herniated disc in my L5S1. Very painful. I couldn't walk for a period of time. On top of that, I had a young lady who I was seeing at the time who's, we were going to get married, we're going to have kids. All of a sudden, she calls me up and says, hey, I want to break up. I was like,
Hmm.
whoa, all right. And on top of that, the business I did have, which was the online training business, was failing. I was going into debt. I was spending more money than I was making. So in 7 days, I'm in debt, not making money, broken back, broken heart. I'm like, what just happened? What did I do? Why me? And I kept going through this. And then throughout that journey, that week, I started to develop a lot of stories about myself and a lot of limiting beliefs. I told myself, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not educated enough. And I just kept saying that. And I developed a story that said, wow, I'm just a loser. Like literally everything I touch just turns to dust. And I was really unfulfilled. I was chasing success, sometimes for the wrong reasons, and I just felt unfulfilled. And then when I saw my potential reality of working the 9 to 5, doing something I hate, it created this unfulfillment in me. So I said to myself, what's the point? Why should I continue? So I became very depressed. I laid in bed every day for a year in 21.
Hmm.
I almost ended my own life.
Hmm.
And I was at that one point where you're at the threshold, and I was like, okay, this is it. Luckily, I didn't do it. I didn't go through with it. And we fast forward in November of 2021. And my family's like, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's do something different. And I'm like, nah, no, just leave me alone. I want to stay here in my room. Eventually, they talk me into it. They're like, okay, I'll go out to lunch with you guys. It was the most awkward lunch of my life. I'm with my family, but I feel like alone because I'm not talking to anybody.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, towards the end of the meal, my brother says to me, hey, ride home with me, just you and me. Okay. We drive home, we park in the driveway, and then we have a 10-minute conversation that felt like it lasted an eternity. And it like put me on the path to finding my breakthrough, so to speak. So my brother puts the car in park and he looks at me in the eyes. He says, Carlo, what are we going to do? How are we going to help you? We tried everything that we can think of, but we don't know what's going to help. So let us know. What can we do? I was like, there's nothing you can do. I failed. I'm a loser. I can't do anything right. There's no point. My brother didn't want to accept that answer. And he looks at me. He said, honestly, I'm your brother and I would do anything for you. You're my brother. Would you do anything for me?
Mm.
Of course I would, without hesitation. I didn't think about that. Turns out I didn't know that shit was a trap, because he's like, okay, perfect. I got a favor I need from you. All right. Okay. Well, what's this favor? What do you need from me? And he tells me, I need you to go on a trip, do something different, get out of here. And I was like, are you crazy? You know how hard it was to leave bed, go out to lunch with you guys? People I haven't talked to because I cut off all communication with you guys. You want me to go on a trip? Are you crazy? And then the next thing he told me, it shook me, hit me like a lightning bolt. And he told me, or he asked me rather, he says, what do you have to lose at this point?
Mm.
And I was like, honestly, not a damn thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at rock bottom right now, so why not give it one more shot, one more last hurrah? And in the back of my head, I had this as like an insurance policy, which I don't recommend anyone doing. But, at the time where my head was at, was like, hey, if this one last attempt doesn't work, I know what I can still do. I can still clock out. And that's just where my head was at. But I wasn't focusing so much on that. I focused on two things. I just kept saying to myself over and over again, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I just said that repeatedly. And I shifted my focus from the guy who was laying in bed every day, felt unfulfilled, didn't know what he wanted to do, had limiting beliefs about himself. And I shifted my focus to the person I wanted to be, the guy who was helping people, the life of the party, the ambitious person. And then the next thing I did was I struck a match from a matchbook. And I see this tiny flame on it. And it was sitting in my gut. And that tiny flame, I felt represented the real me, the real Carlo, the ambitious guy, the funny guy, the guy who wants to help people. And even though it was so small, he was still down there somewhere. And the more I thought about it, it just grew and grew. And all of a sudden, I felt like a freaking fireball over here. And then something hit me. I looked at my brother and I said, okay, I'll go on this trip. And he's going crazy. He's like, okay, cool. Where do you want to go? So this is in November. And in Virginia's weird. Sometimes it wants to be hot. Sometimes it wants to be cold. I don't know. So at that time in November, it was a little nippy. So I was like, there's no point going somewhere else cold. I don't want to do that. Let's go somewhere warm. He says, okay, where do you want to go? The first thing that came to my mind, I said, I don't know, Florida. Solid. Cool. When do you want to go? Soon? Okay. You want to go alone? You want to come with me? What do you want? Please come with me. I don't want to go alone. I'll probably just lay in the hotel every day.
Yeah.
Okay, Carlo, perfect. Don't worry about a thing. I will send you details tonight. That was Sunday. Our plane left on Tuesday.
Mm.
And we're going to West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, here I don't know where West Palm Beach is. We don't know if it's on the
Beautiful
east.
place. Beautiful place.
It is amazing. But at first, we never heard about it. We didn't know if it was on east, west, north, south. We didn't know anything about it. So we land in West Palm Beach, and I am filled with immediate regret. I'm like, why did we come to Florida? What are we doing here? I want to go back to my room, back to my house in Virginia. What's the point of doing this? Day two, same thing. And my brother's trying to do some, like, he's trying to rent jet skis. He's trying to go on a boat, go fishing. Let's go rent bikes. Let's go to the beach. And I just want to lay in my room in the hotel. Yeah. The most exciting thing we did to that point, the most adrenaline we had, was we went to a local pharmacy, bought a deck of cards, and played Go Fish in the Park. That was like the most exciting thing we did to that point. Fast forward to that day, he and I are sitting on this patio table outside. We're talking, just shooting the shit. And all of a sudden, he puts his phone down. And he looks at me. He says, I booked us something to do. I'm not telling you what it is. Just get up and follow me. And I was scared. I was like, what does he have me do? We're gonna go to some weird nightclub. Are we gonna go in the middle of the ocean on a boat? Did we join a cult? What's gonna happen? He's like, just shut up and follow me. Okay, we're walking. And all of a sudden, we're at the stoplight and we're about to cross. But before we see the light turn green, I'm just looking at my surroundings, and all of a sudden I see this building in front of me. It says West Palm Beach Convention Center. Then I look down on the ground at the electric sign sticking out of the ground, and the sign says, Tony Robbins, unleash the power within.
Mm.
And I look at my brother, and I'm like, wait, what? He didn't know anything about this. Again, I picked Florida. I picked when we we're going to go. I honestly believe, right, this was divine timing, divine intervention. God wanted me in this place this time. And my motto, and this is what I credit, and this is like part of my motto, part of my coaching, is that all you need to do to change your life is one moment that leads to one decision that leads to one action step. And if I didn't get out of bed, get on that plane to go to Florida, I wouldn't have experienced what I did experience there. And when I was learning, when I was playing full out, when I was actually applying myself and investing in myself, it was like I had this telepathic communication with God, with the universe. And it was like, Carlo, this is how you're going to help people. There are people out there like you who are ambitious, who are high achievers. They know they're meant for more, but they're not there yet. Whether it be in their personal life, whether it be in their business life, they have these limiting beliefs. They have this lack of fulfillment in what they do. They don't know what else to do. This is how you're going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, perfect. That's what I'm going to do. November 13th, 2021, I made that decision. I transformed my business from personal training to more so life coaching. I do keynote speaking, for businesses, Fortune 500s, to local communities and stuff like that. And I've been doing it ever since. And that's what I dedicated my life to. And it's been a blessing ever since.
Well, so what would you say is your biggest why?
My biggest why is I never want any other person to experience what I did, because I know everybody has this untapped potential we just don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not only am I helping the version of myself 2-3 years ago over and over again, but it's like, I know what people are capable of because I did it. You know what I mean? And I'm a small fish. You know what I mean? So it's like, if a small town kid from Richmond, Virginia can overcome adversity, make great things happen, why can't you? So my big why is like, let me show you what your potential is, and it will change your life.
Yeah,
But you
love that. I love that. How's your coaching program going? What are you doing to, get it out there and spread the word?
Yeah, so I do it from different angles, and they all work. So obviously, social media marketing, I hit all the platforms I feel my ideal client is on. So I hit like 5 different social media platforms. I'm also speaking, and then from the speeches, from the keynotes, audience members who were there, I'm speaking instead of one-to-one, one-to-many. So
Yeah,
obviously, when I get off stage, people approach me, and I'm sure you experience this too.
yeah.
Oh,
How are
Carlo.
you finding those speaking engagements? What are you doing to find those engagements and get
So
your
originally, it started off with my immediate network, right, of who I know, who does events, trainings, workshops, conferences, stuff like that. And then from there, it kind of grows. And then outside of that, it's like, oh, I know this one person who I'm a good friend with, and I'm just networking with who they know, and we're talking to them. So it's a combination of like outreaching to people who knows a friend who knows a friend in my immediate network. And then, of course, when I get these keynotes, when it goes really well, there might be someone else who's doing an event in the audience, and then it blossoms from that.
Right, right. Um, what value can I add to you and your projects that you're doing now?
What value?
Yeah.
Um, the biggest thing I can think of is creating a relationship so that way I can spread my message more. So obviously, you may know people who do events, or you might even do events yourself with your REI investing. How
Hmm.
can I spread my message, my word, to help more people? And anyone who either wants to do something like that for an event that I can speak at, or somebody you may know who needs that guidance, coaching, one-on-one help. Those are probably 2 big ways I can help.
Yeah. What's the easiest way for people to get in contact with you?
I mainly congregate on Instagram. People
Okay.
can DM me. I also have a website, carlotome.com, where people can see like what my topics are in speaking. They can message me from my website as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything of other value you want to discuss or think might help people out there in the world? Because your message is pretty powerful, it feels like. And when we talk to people of all different backgrounds, when I talk to them, they always have that why. And I have my why too, but they always have that why and that defining moment in their life that they can always pinpoint to, and that where their life changed and pivoted. So I definitely appreciate hearing that from you as well.
Of course. And thank you. Other things of value too, I know of that's within the same realm, but a lot of people don't really think about it, especially in the corporate world and the business world, is that I've come to understand that there are 4 key areas in business that if we don't pay attention to, we will suffer. And that's leadership, productivity, stress management, decision making. And a lot of that isn't so much technicality, but more so internal work. And if we can manage our internal world, that's when we can actually manifest everything outside. That's something that I think is crucial.
That's powerful. You got a great message. I think more people need to hear it, man. And I'm happy to have you on. Hopefully we can help you spread the word.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Again, I believe in everything happens for a reason. You meet people for at certain times, certain places for a reason. So I think this was, destined to happen. And I want to grow a relationship. I want to grow a connection so that way we can help more people. Because what the work you're in, it's the exact same thing. It's just different. It's real estate. It's how you can help people grow their financial portfolio like you did. How can people get out of that race? You know what I mean? So I appreciate what you do. And I think when great minds come together from different areas with different expertise, it can help the overall person achieve overall abundance, overall success.
Agreed. So the key is how many people can we help? It's not who can we help, but how many, right? Because there's a lot of people out there who need the help, but who can we help? Or we know it's people out there, but how many can we help? Before they think or they make a tragic decision that they may regret. They might just be that little candle or that little match out there, or one trip from going to where they need to go to get them free. So I love that, man. That's an amazing story.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's it. All right, cool. Let me I'm gonna stop recording. Cool. I'll chop.